You can see that what you do is you pretend to be people's friends. You find out what they want, what their weakness is, and you give it to them. If they want money, you give them money. If they want sex, you arrange for that. If they want drugs, you arrange for that. Whatever it is they want, their weakness is, you feed them. And then you tell them, okay, I'm doing all this for you and I just need these little favors. And you corrupt them. And you corrupt them until you can control them. And of course, you know what they're doing, so you can always blackmail them if they try to get out of line. But basically what controls them is the knowledge that if they don't go along with you, then they lose out on all these things they like. You know, if they play ball with you, then they become rich, they become famous, they have all of their desires sated, they get everything that they want, but in a mental state which is increasingly depraved and subject to manipulation. And that's also the Venetian method, that you win by corruption. And that the thing that the empire fears most of all is an honest man who isn't corruptible because he doesn't want those things.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 7. Surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Quadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasher Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwat, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. I want to go into a lesson based on the clip that you just saw of John Hopeful and his statement concerning the Venetian method, and it's basically a method of corruption. Now, we filter everything through the scriptures, and I wanted to take this clip and highlight a few scriptures through the Spirit, because what the Lord is doing with the elect in comparison to the world is completely different. The Lord is giving the elect the ability to detach from this society. All right. And that's not of their own volition. It's the Lord that's putting the Spirit on the elect to detach from this society. All right. This is Micah 2 and 10. And it reads, Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. All right. And the reason I'm highlighting these points is because the hour of temptation, where the MOTB, the mark of the beast, is going to be made mandatory, that no man can buy or sell without that RFID CHIP. Those who have already been corrupted are going to take this willingly. All right. On the other side of that, the Lord is going to give the elect the spirit to resist this. All right. And this goes back to the original point of corruption. Esau's one of Esau's greatest tools on this side to maintain his system and power is corruption. That's why the scriptures say a gift destroyeth the heart. When you go into that word gift, it goes into a bribe. All right. Now, what John Hopeful was going into was the top of the food chain, where these elites are in collusion with each other. All right. Between the corporate elites, the rich elites, all right, and the government, and they hold secrets over each other. That's a form of corruption through blackmail. All right, when you deal with the state of Israel and their connection with the government of Babylon the Great, which is America, it's mainly they're mainly able to hold control over the American political system through corruption. And what he said at the end of it was that what they fear most is an honest man who doesn't want those things. And that's what the Lord is raising up in the elect. The spirit of detachment, to not be so caught up in possessions that you are willing to give up your own soul, which is what Yahweh Shai was going into. Maintaining your integrity through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai. And the elect are going to be given the ability to do that. All right, this is Revelation chapter 3 and 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. All right, now I'm bringing this out to show that the elect's fortitude, if you will, is really through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai. And when you look at the journey, for example, when you look at the journey from you first waking up into this truth until now, you've grown in the spirit, and you've also grown with the ability to detach from this society, meaning we don't look at these things the same way. The Lord already told us that we can't even take these bodies with us. So through the chastening of the Lord, the hour of temptation is going to be different for the elect compared to everyone else. Because Esau runs a very sophisticated system of corruption and bribery. For example, he was talking about the high level bribery. When you deal with these elites and the secrets they keep amongst each other to maintain that community and that to make sure that nobody goes against the grain, so to speak, without hurting themselves. Well, on a lower level, your job could be a source of bribery if it deters you from speaking the truth. Esau has a sophisticated system of bribes from top to bottom. And what the Lord is training the elect to do is to detach from this place so that Esau can't hold possessions over the head of the elect. All right. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. But as it stands, the Lord said he was going to keep the elect from the hour of temptation. So the elect will be delivered from that moment. They will be given the spirit to resist. All right, real quick. This is 2 Ezra chapter 16. And I'm going to jump down to verse 40. It says, O my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle. And in those evils, be even as pilgrims upon the earth. All right. And pilgrims, being a pilgrim is a mindset first and foremost. You have to have the mindset that you're passing through this place, that this place isn't your permanent dwelling. A lot of people are going to take that trip because in their mind, this is their permanent dwelling place. And because their treasures are laid up on earth, they're going to do whatever's required to keep it and maintain it. Whereas the Lord has given the spirit to the elect to go above that, to not lay up for themselves treasures on earth. Even with everything that the elect may have on this side, they already understand that it's going to all come to naught as the elements are going to melt with fervent heat at the end of this thing. The fashion of this world is going to pass away. So whereas the rest of the world is playing for keeps, the elect have the mind of a pilgrim passing through this place, not making this place a permanent destination or a permanent home. 2 Ezra 16 and 41 reads, He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. He that occupieth merchandise as he that hath no profit by it, and he that buildeth as he that shall not dwell therein. So this shows you the balance of it. It doesn't mean that you just become negligent, but it means that you have an understanding that everything you have on this side, all right, is going to pass away. So you don't put a whole lot of stock in it like the rest of the world does. Like Yahweh Shah said, all these things do the Gentiles see. Building generational wealth, things of that nature. And again, it's not to say that you don't have to work, and handle your business on a day-to-day and provide for your family. But you understand at the end of this thing that none of this stuff we're going to be able to keep anyway. So there's a level of detachment from it, which comes from the Heavenly Father. The rest of the world, they're playing for keeps. That's why it's going to catch them as a thief in the night. And they're going to be so desperate to keep their little portion of this corruption, all right, that they're going to submit. So when you look at John Hopeful explain the Venetian method, it works top to bottom. If you're afraid to lose on this side, like Yahweh Shah said, this is Matthew 16:25. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. And why is Yahweh Shah giving us this counsel? Because the Lord knew we would grow up in a world that was corrupted, man. That if Esau can hold your desire to have possessions and keep them over your head, along with the fear of death, then he can control you. And the majority of the planet, all right, are already under his thumb because they have their own portion of this corruption. This is why Yahweh Shah said in John the 3rd chapter that this is the condemnation. All right, real quick, John 3:19. And this is the condemnation, that light is coming to the world, and men love darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil. See, everybody has a portion of the corruption, if you will, on this side. Everybody has their own little piece of wickedness. That's why they're able to overlook the deeds of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man as a whole, because they have some sort of comfort at the hands of the so-called white man through this system. And he maintains his power through the Venetian method. And it's a method of corruption. This is why even now you notice that your ability to have free speech is being brought to naught. You have jobs that are starting to implement social media policies where you can't post certain things without the punishment of losing your job. That is a form of bribery. So this Venetian method that John Hopeful is speaking of, even though he's talking about the elites and the athletes and people who are in the upper echelon, this is a top-down method. Because you have companies now who are basically censoring the people that are working for them and threatening that they'll cut off their livelihood in a place that so-called gave you free speech. So we live and exist in a system of sophisticated corruption. And the only ones who are truly free from it is the elect. All right, this is John 8:32. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. All right, that peace of mind of understanding all of the elements are going to melt with fervent heat. Everything on this side is going to pass away. So even Esau's threat of your livelihood being taken is going to be taken anyway. That's a part of knowing the truth. Esau threatening you with the pain of death. The truth has given you an understanding of what death is. Esau can't hold that over the elect. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. You know, but from the elect's viewpoint, there's nothing that can be held over their head that would make them compromise their integrity, because it's already written. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. And this is the beautiful statement that he made at the end, which is that this system doesn't fear anything outside of an honest man that cannot be corrupted. Meaning you can't take him to the back room and say, look, I got $1 billion for you. I got a couple houses for you. I just need you to. The elect are not going to fold. And again, I say, Lord willing, we be a part of that number. But I'm speaking from the point that the elect have already obtained a victory through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. And the Lord will give them the spirit to withstand that. And that's the honest man that John Hopeful was speaking of, whether he's aware of it or not. The chastening of the Lord has such beautiful qualities because though it hurts when we're in it and we go through these tribulations, on the other side of it, you care less about your possessions on this side because you understand that it's all going to melt with fervent heat. And no matter what situation you're placed in, the Lord is always going to see you through it. That's the faith of the elect. All right, real quick, this 1 Corinthians 7:21. Art thou called being a servant? Care not for it. But if thou mayest be made free, use it rather. For he that is called in the Lord being a servant is the Lord's freeman. Likewise, also he that is called being free is Hamashiach's servant. So I love this part because what the Lord did with the truth in the spirit of the elect is he freed the elect from the bondage of expectation, you know, of this expectation that in this world you're supposed to be chasing the bag, you know, that if you're not building generational wealth, you're a failure. You know, all of these different yokes that live in our people's minds that make them work 3 and 4 jobs to try to get ahead. The elect have been freed from that. And that's why the hour of temptation, they're going to be given the spirit to withstand, because ultimately they've been withstanding all of this time through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. The hour of temptation is just going to make it manifest. And in a world full of corruption, the most fearful thing to them is honesty and integrity. That's why this is the greatest threat to Esau's kingdom. The greatest threat to his kingdom is the truth. And the elect that carry this truth in that carry this testimony in their vessels and will not give up their integrity for the possessions of this world. When you look at Yahweh Shai and his trial with Satan and his temptation, what did Satan try to tempt him with? Things that really already belong to him. You know, the Lord say he made the world for our sakes. But again, we have to stand in great boldness for Yahweh Shema Shai according to our integrity. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. And the elect will do that. You know, and when I first saw this clip, you know, I screen recorded, but I didn't speak on it yet, you know, because I was waiting for the Spirit to give me the inspiration to do the lesson, you know, but it brings me back to a point that I've been touching on often through the Spirit these past few weeks, and that's the detachment from this system and how priceless that gift actually is when you look at it. Most of these people take their lives so serious because they really think that they can keep this stuff. They really think whatever position they hold on this side is permanent. They sincerely believe they can build generational wealth here. And that all of the things concerning prophecy and judgment that the Lord spoke of is not going to happen in their lifetime. And because of that, their hope is in vain things. So when it really hits the fan, their hope is going to die with it. Their confidence is going to die with it. Whereas you, Lord willing, we be a part of that number, the Lord has been teaching you from the moment you got into this truth to trust him and not the so-called white man and his system, to not be corrupted by bribes and compromise the integrity the Lord has given you for some comfort. All right, this is Philippians 1:5. For your fellowship in the gospel from the first day until now, being confident of this very thing, that he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Yahushua HaMashiach. And again, I bring this out because the moment you get this truth, the Lord begins to chasten you according to his pleasure for your profiting. And one of the most important parts of that chastening is the detachment that naturally occurs as you go through certain trials and you endure it. What begins to happen is you begin to have a trust and dependence on Yahweh Shema Shai over the possessions and the status or whatever, the comfort of this society. And that's what the elect would do. They would lean on the Lord. All right, this is Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 20. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Yasharallah, in truth. And the hour of temptation is going to make that manifest. Even when you deal with C-19 and that whole mandatory jump shot, that was a test run. But it showed that if you trust in Yahweh Shema Shai, he will see you through it. Because brothers refused to take it, lost jobs, and the Lord gave brothers other jobs. Or the Lord gave the job, the Spirit, to say, all right, well, he ain't got to take it. But just another example of when we lean on the Lord never forsakes us. And that's what Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, fears most. Those who cannot be corrupted by his dainties. All right. Matter of fact, let me get that. This is. Matter of fact, that's not it. It talks about the rich man. Yes. This is Proverbs 23 and 1. When thou sittest to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is before thee, and put a knife to thy throat if thou be a man given to appetite. And see, Esau plays on people's appetites. That's how he's able to corrupt. Continue in verse 3. Be not desirous of his dainties, for they are deceitful meat. You know, there's a saying in the world, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Jake's desire to provide for their family and, you know, do certain things for the household and be able to give their people, their family the best and give their kids the best and give them the best education. While those may be good intentions, it's corrupted on this side. That is the reality. That's why the Lord said it will destroy you. And Esau's biggest fear is those who will not be corrupted by his dainties, who are in the world but are not of the world. So when he does put that squeeze on the world, the Lord's going to give the spirit on the elect. He's going to give them the spirit to withstand that. That's why I read Revelation, the 3rd chapter, where the Lord said, I will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall try the world. Because if the Lord don't give you the spirit to resist, you won't. All right. So Lord willing, this was edifying with that. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasha Allah, and a sincere salutation to all Yuakim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.